the ZX10 Masters Cup action is proudly brought to you by Raceway for ultimate activation. Hello from myself, Rob Portman, and welcome to Zwartkops Raceway. It is the start of the 2020 season of the Raceway ZX10 Masters Cup Championship. And as you can see, the packs, as always, are absolutely jammed to the brim with racers rearing to get out on track. Bridgestone, once again, the tyre sponsor for the 2020 season. The brand new Bridgestone R11s have been fitted to the bikes, and it's time to go racing for the first time this year, and we cannot wait. We've got some new additions to the championship. The age limit has been brought down, not quite as young as that age right there, but it has been brought down from 35 to 30. So that sees the introduction of a few extra riders, the likes of the Agliotti brothers, and of course the very fast lady rider Landy Sinden. Ian Harwood, the man from Bridgestone and TRP, once again working ever so hard. Sifiso Temba, big new sponsor for him. King Price Extreme coming on board for the 2020 season, and as you can see, a jam-packed and brilliant looking pit setup there for Sifiso. So let's see if he can turn that into gold in the racing classes. Garrett Prezando, he's going to be a top rider in the podium positions. Look out for the likes of Michael Smith, Teddy Brooks, Sanjeev Singh, Aubrey Maria, Henk Scaling. They're all right there. So let's catch up with the youngest competitor, who happens to be a lady.
Butterflies are there, so quite excited to join the new series and being the famous lady competitor. So yeah, I was looking to enjoy the series this year. And on the Kawasaki ZX10, it's quite a different machine to my previous 600s. So yeah, it's adjusting quite nicely and looking forward. Yeah, definitely.
So from our youngest competitor, let's go to the oldest. It's Mr. Johan Leroux.
And Dave, I don't know if it's an honor or what, but because Stewie Russell and Andre van Vollenstein left us, the responsibility is on my shoulders now to be the oldest and do the best I can.
Dave's down in pit lane catching up with our last year's champion. It's Graham from Ida from Stefanudi Stocks Kawasaki.
Yeah, Dave, we're feeling good, eh? Been training a bit in the off-season and we haven't ridden much. This will be obviously the first time back on the bike since November. So we did a small test on last week. Our official practice was last week Thursday, and we did very good lap times. So looking forward to the race today. The track looks good, nice and clean, and lucky enough that all the sponsors went on board with me again. That's the reason we're back here. So thanks to Stefanuti Stocks, to Motel, EK Chains, the guys backed us again, so we're giving it another go this year.
Plenty of pressure on his shoulders with that number one plate. Everyone going to try and steal that away from him. Final preparations in the pits. Then you can see families and friends and the massive spectators that have come out here just getting their seats for what is about to be an absolute cracking start to the 2020 season. There's Ian Harwood getting that aero helmet on. You can see the concentration, you can see the stress levels on the face there of Ian, whereas Keith Agliotti in his first race in the Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup, big smile on that face, getting ready to go for the first time. You can see the wind's picked up ever so slightly. That sometimes plays a little bit of a factor here as they head onto the grid. Riders heading out of pit lane, then forming on the grid. Join us after the break for race one action of the 2020 Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup. Welcome back to Zwartkops Raceway with myself, Rob Portman, and joining me in the commentary booth, as always, is Dave Peterson. And Dave, the excitement is starting to build. The first race, it's almost felt like an eternity that we've been waiting for it, but here it is. The 2020 Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup is about to get underway.
You see they're clearing the grid as we get ready for that race. Graham van Madar, last year's champion, on pole position. Right behind him, Gavin Poseidon. And John T. Collard, also a good qualifying returnee to the series. Sanjeev Singh, great to see him back out on track. Waiting for the lights to go off. We're going to head down into turn one. Who will get that whole shot? Good start from Madar straight away.
Jonty Collard from the second row. Looks like he's got a good start up into the third place. Or no, Michael Smith just on the inside there. So it is from Madar. There's Ian Harwood going around the outside. So he's got a lot of pressure all the way through the field. You can see there's good dices already starting to form. Jonty Collard gets in fourth place just behind Michael Smith, Gareth Bazano and Graham from Madar. These three guys have got to try and hang on to the coattails of last year's champion.
Great to see those 20 bikes out on the track, all identical Kawasaki's on identical tyres, and that is the success of this series. A friendly bunch of guys in the pits, but when it comes to racing, there's no friends here. Take no prisoners.
Sifiso Temba just looking down at his monitor there. I'm not quite sure if he's quite up to pace yet on his new King Price Extreme sponsored machine from Radar at the top of the hill, turn 5.
Whoa,
gets through their lean angle as well that these riders are getting. Teddy Brook coming out there as well, and there's the first of the Agliotti brothers starting to make headway now to the front end.
I wonder where Johan Leroux was going. Looked like he was going to go on the dirt track on the outside of the circuit there. Already a bit of a gap for from Radar, but this is good from Gareth Besaidnout, and right behind him Michael Smith.
Yeah, we might see this happen today. Graham from Madar clearing at the front, but I think that battle for the final podium, especially in all the different categories, remember we've got A, B, C, the different age group, there's going to be good battles all the way through the field. Great shot there, going into turn 1 for the first time in full anger on board here with the returning Sanjeev Singh. Oh, a little bit of a moment as he comes out there. You've got to get heat into those Bridgestone tyres before you can fully attack. Jordan Agliotti on the Ridgeway Race Bar brake late machine just ahead of him. One of our newcomers, and watch out, he's going to be a big contender for those final podium positions.
I think Sanjeev Singh's already overheating those tyres away. He's getting on the gas. Oh, look at Michael Smith's style. He just sits on that bike and he bangs it on its side. Johan Leroux running wide once again. From Bradar lights up another darkie. This is unbelievable. From Bradar has got the gas on for this first 2 laps.
Yeah, you can see these guys have had their winter break. They now come back fully refreshed and wanting to go. Michael Schmidt had a brilliant end to the 2019 season. He's bringing that form right here now into 2020. Jonty Collard on the inside can't make that move stick. Much better starters from Jonty. He normally spends most of the time in the race catching up. He's right in the mix there now. Can he hold on to it? In the background there, Johan Leroux, and just behind them, Jordan Agliotti. Watch out for that Ridgeway Race Bar sponsor machine. There he is, the blue and black bike. He's starting to close down that gap. He's one of our youngest competitors. Now that we've dropped it to 30 years old, he can climb in along with his brother Keith.
Keith Agliotti also in the pack there. Great to see them out with the rest of the guys as they stream through the Ruan Albaza, Lafraz Fritz, Sifiso Temba, as you said, with a new sponsor, Ian Hardwood there with the brightly coloured leathers. And right behind him is Landy Sinden, our lady rider, and we dice with Carl. Jonty
Collard coming out of turn number 4 up to the top of the hill, gets that Kawasaki all kinds of lit up. I thought these bikes were supposed to have touch control. On the inside, Michael Schmidt of Gareth Besaidnout. They swap paint there. Oh, this is awesome. We're only 3 laps in to the 2020 season, and this is what the beauty about Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup is, that these guys and girls do not hold back.
Jonty Collard had the best seat in the house to see that overtake, and then the undercut as he came out of that shelf corner. So Besaidnout back in front of Michael Smith, but Smith has made it known what he wants to do. And look at this dice right behind him, Henk Scaling. He's holding off Ian Hardwood and Landy Sinden right behind him, Carl Rohrbeck and Nigel Brent just behind them.
Michael Schmidt trying to make that move back now on Gareth Besaidnout. Remember, this is the battle for 2nd and 3rd place, the final podium spots overall. And just behind them, the battle for 7th place, Aubrey Murray, Henk Scaling, Lafraz Fritz, Ruan Albaza, Sifiso Temba, Ian Harwood, Landy Sinden, Carl Rohrbeck, and another newcomer, Nigel Brandt, who stepped up from the Bridgestone Challenge into the ZX10 Masters Cup and coming out of turn 4 again up to turn number 5. You can see those Bridgestone R11s working overtime. How does Johan Leroux, at whatever age he is now, still be able to mix it with these guys at the front end of the field?
I think he just qualifies for the minimum age of 31. So Johan Leroux's forgotten his age. He's out there and he's doing it. Look at that. He is hanging on like a tiger.
Just behind them, Jordan Agliotti, not quite making the inroads I thought I would have seen. You can see, Johan Leroux, we just sang his praises and out of the race he goes. Obviously a technical problem there. Oh, that's such a pity. You can see he's really upset with that. He had the pace to put it on the podium. Let's hope he can get it sorted for race number 2. Now Michael Schmidt up into 2nd place. So again, just carrying that momentum from 2019. And he's going to be a real contender for the top 3 every single race we go to. But he's got Gareth Besaidnout, Jonty Collard, and starting to close the gap. Last time around, another 0.3 of a second. Jordan Agliotti is on the move.
He's coming, isn't he? Very quickly, in fact. And then just behind them, that dice with Sanjeev Singh, Aubrey Murray. What a great ride from Aubrey Murray. And right behind him, we've got Lafraz Fritz and Ruan Albahoza. Sifiso Temba still hanging in there with Ian Hardwood.
Landy Sinden just behind them, so she's in the points as it stands at the moment. That's a really good ride on board here now with Sanjeev Singh. Look at this, you bang it down 2 gears, maybe 3rd gear for these guys, or 4th gear depending on your gearing. Listen to him just accelerate that ZX10. Great having Sanjeev back. He's done a lot of short circuit racing down at Desi on a little 150 just to get himself prepped for the 2020 season.
Well, a 150 will get you really prepared to ride a 1000cc superbike, won't it?
It'll help just loosen up the body. You got to have that elbow down style. Graham from Redon doesn't quite have it yet. He's out front, cleared off. This is where all the action is on track. That battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th place between Michael Smith, Garrett Bazanot and Jonty Collard. He's just sitting there at the moment waiting to pounce. Bazanot goes around the outside. Michael Smith goes a little bit defensive there. We're getting to that point in the race now where fatigue maybe starts setting in. Those tyres have got a lot of heat in them. Bazanot on the inside. Is he going to make it stick? No, he doesn't. But this is when racecraft and game plans now start coming into play.
I'm just looking at the lap times. Last lap around, Jordan Agliotti looks to me like he has set the quickest lap of this race so far.
Heng Scaling goes around the outside. Oh, taking the front end there. That looks like it's Wayne Spicer. Down he goes, and he was starting to pick off a couple of spots, getting confident. Just too much front brake. He just didn't open the corner enough. He went in too tight, tucked the front end. Good to see that he's okay.
Back with our dice for the podium position. Don't forget, one of these riders is not going to get on the podium because we got Frambadar way out front. On board, Jonty Collard, top of the hill. Gareth Besaidnot once again dives up on the inside. Does he make it stick? No, he's running wide. Oh, Michael Smith not able to do anything about it. Now Jonty comes around the outside. Let's take a replay then of that crash with Wayne Spicer, bike number 90 on the Wellness Group machine. Just locks the front end, as you say, Rob, and down he goes. Luckily, no injury, and the bike not too badly damaged, I don't think.
So easy to do that at turn 2 at Zwartkops. You really trail brake so deep into that corner and just got caught out there. I love the new green leathers, the Berwick suit there, really looking the part this year, and let's hope that he can get back out for race number 2. Michael Smith fights back though. So Bazanot is just putting that move at the top of the hill at turn number 5. But Michael Smith is just saying, I am not letting go of the 2nd position. And Gareth Bazanot, he's got that hard job of trying to attack but defend at the moment. Look at the 2 Agliotti brothers now. Keith has closed onto the back of Jordan. So our newcomers to the Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup, loving life in the paddock and out on track.
Teddy Brook goes through. He's in no man's land. Right behind him is Sanjeev Singh. Sanjeev, welcome return from him. Teddy Brook stuck really in the middle of nowhere. Bit difficult for him. Oh, we got an overtake going on the inside there. So that looks like Aubrey Marais just being taken by Lafraz. Fritz. Oh, does he hold it? Yes, Fritz. Hard on the power as they come out of there. Back towards the back of the field, we've got Carl Rohrbeck and Brunt. And Rob, we've just changed Landy Sinder's name to Sandy Linden.
We'll get it right. We've got a whole year to get it completely right. Teddy Brook at the top end. You see, he's kind of stuck in that no man's land. He's trying to bridge that gap to the Agliotti brothers, just not close enough. Oh, look at Bazanot. He's got a comfortable margin now. They're in 2nd place. So not sure what's happened there. Michael Smith coming under pressure now from Jonty Collard, and the Agliotti brothers are coming. That is Sanjeev Singh that we're on screen there. Brilliant ride, brilliant return ride from him. And Collard now, he can feel the pressure coming from the 2 Agliottis behind him. He needs to make a move on Michael Schmidt, who just seems to have dropped the pace ever so slightly and going a little bit more defensive now. Lost out on Gareth Bazanot for that 2nd spot.
Looks like Michael might have been chewing up those tyres a wee bit, especially on the rear of the bike. So Jonty Collard's going to want to make a move if he wants to catch up to 2nd place Gareth Bazanot. Frambadar, smooth ride. He's really quieting down now as the race goes on. We're on board at Jonty Collard. It's by on the inside. Oh, he's a bit out of shape. Jonty Collard. I don't think he's going to make this turn. He's onto the dirt. That's the end of the race for Jonty. Does he stop it? Oh, thank goodness for those airbags. That's what happens when you hit the airbag straight on.
And there we go. That's a bird's eye view of hitting an airbag. But you could hear he just got it too wrong. Maybe try to bang down gears too fast. Hit a false neutral. Can't stop the bike. And unfortunately, Jonty Collard out of those podium positions. Let's see if he can get back on track and score some vital championship points. Remember, it's a whole season. You've got to pick up every point you can. Here comes Jordan Agliotti. That's put him now right in the mix for the podium positions. So there's Michael Smith. There's Keith. And there's Jordan. So Keith at the moment up inside now. That 4th spot trying to get onto the final podium position just ahead of Michael Smith.
Jonty Collard comes back onto the track. Doesn't look like the bike's too badly damaged at all. The airbags, thanks to Zwartkops, the only track in the country that puts airbags around the circuit. Michael Smith, he is under pressure now from the Agliotti brothers. Can they catch him with just a few laps remaining? Frambadar looks over his shoulder. He sees nobody behind him actually. He's just cruising around. He's got 6-second lead at this point of the race. We're going down towards the checkers. Now the big dice is behind him. We know Gareth Besaidnot will hang on to that 2nd place. But the 3rd place is between the Agliotti brothers and Michael Smith. Let's see when they come down the hill. There is Besaidnot. There's the dice for that. I see only one Agliotti brother. That's Jordan Agliotti up on the inside of Michael Smith. Checkered flag comes out for Graham Frambadar, who does win the race. 2nd place, well, obviously it's going to be Gareth Besaidnot. Jordan Agliotti. And there is Keith Agliotti. He's crashed to the top of the hill. can't quite get enough traction on the tyre or his boots.
Oh, unfortunately, last lap in the mix for a podium finish at your first race in the Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup, and unfortunately, he puts it down, but his brother will get the final podium spot. Thumbs up there. Great camaraderie, as always, in the Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup, but there's your overall results. Graham van Renau picks it up ahead of Gareth Pizzano. Jordan Agliotti picks up that third place ahead of Michael Smith. Teddy Brooks, Sanjeev Singh, Aubrey Moran, 7th. Brilliant stuff there. And in 8th place, Henk Scaling, your Class C rider. Down in the post-race paddock, always great catching up with the riders. Let's catch up then with Jordan Agliotti, first time out in 3rd place on his Ridgeway Race Park Break Lake Park.
Must admit, very happy. We made big changes, set the bike up last night, and we had to go racing today. So happy to get a reasonably good feel. I think we can definitely find more, but like I said, very, very happy. Saw my brother go down into turn 5 in front of me. Very exciting race. But yeah, must admit, the bike's good. We'll get his bike ready for race 2, and we'll do it all over again.
A brilliant return ride in 6th place from Sanjeev Singh.
The race was fantastic. It's so good to be back racing ZX10 Cup after a year off. I must say a huge thank you to Luke Walters from MSC. He had a week to get my bike ready, and he got it ready. It's working fantastically well. So thank you, Luke, and thank you to Kawasaki and Red Square and Bridgestone for putting it on. Looking forward to the second race.
Time to grab some refreshments. Join us after the break for race 2 action. Welcome back to a beautiful Zwartkops Raceway. It is the Day of Champions, and we've got round 1 of the 2020 Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup. The wind is picking up ever so slightly. Joining you for the race action is myself, Rob Portman, and Dave Peterson, and it's now time to catch up with race number 2, an epic race number 1, an epic way to kick the season off. And now we head on to the grid for race number 2.
Well, if you get anything like the action we did in race 1, this is unbelievable stuff. As we see the umbrella girls just keeping the guys under the shade. Rob, it's up to 32 degrees as we take a look at the riders as they come up onto the grid. We'll be hoping for big things from the Agliotti brothers once again. Great to see them in the series. John T. Collard, little crash there in the first race. Will he be able to pick it up again in the second one? Michael Smith. Will he went backwards? And now Johan Leroux. I'm sure he's going to be determined to do something. Sanjeev Singh, he looks determined.
Yeah, you can see those eyes are just focused on heading into turn 1 as high up as possible. There is the ever-present Henny the flag, and he gets the board going, and we are under starter's orders now for race number 2 of the Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup. On board, yeah, with Sanjeev Singh. You can hear those RPMs pick up ever so slightly. Oh, Gareth Pizzano gets that front wheel sky high, as does Jordan Agliotti. So they've lost a couple of positions off there. They're going to have to try and fight their way through. Cannot allow any mistakes at the start of the race.
John T. Collard up in the second place. He's already obviously forgotten about the little crash he had in the first race. Straight away into second position. That is absolutely brilliant.
That's exactly what he needs, though. He needs to be up there. He needs to get the start, because it really sets your race up. From Bidar already starting to edge away, but that's a beautiful shot. Look at the speed they carry through turn number 3. That is flat out stuff. 200 odd k's an hour from these 200 horsepower Kawasaki machines. Sanjeev Singh, you can see he lost a couple of spots there behind Teddy Brook. He's going to try and get one over him. Ian Harwood with a really good start just behind him. You can see the bright orange gear there of Sifiso Temba with that massive King Price branding from Bidar at the top of the hill. It's Michael Smith up into second, just ahead of Collard. Ooh, Sanjeev Singh running wide. Teddy Brook able to put the move back on the inside. The 2 Agliotti brothers just ahead of them, but Jordan and Keith, they've got some work to do to get themselves back into podium contention.
On board with John T. Collard as we go down in that final turn, second gear onto the straight as they squirted down their third and fourth gears into that turn number 1. Difficult corner, hard to overtake there, Rob.
Yeah, I just love this shot. That kind of gives you a perspective of the speed they carry, but not quite, because you really do hold anchors and just pray that you come out of turn 1. It is one of the fastest corners and most demanding corners in South African motorsport. Sanjeev Singh there, recovery ride down, not the best of start, not the best first lap, to be honest there. Got to gather his composure, just got to settle it down and try and bridge that gap now to Teddy Brook, who's trying to go with the 2 Agliotti brothers.
Agliotti brothers, I thought they might get a better start this time around. Not quite so good. You can see them stuck together there like glue as they go through that ever so fast turn number 4.
Up to the top of the hill, Jordan just behind his brother Keith. Oh, leg out stuff there from Bidar, looking to make it another double on the day. He's clearing out at the front. Here's the battle, Michael Smith. Look at Johan Leroux there in third place ahead of Gareth Pizzano, John T. Collard. Remember, they're running the same tyres they did in race number 1. So with track temperature up to about 42 degrees, really going to play a key role now in race number 2.
Don't forget, Johan Leroux has done less laps because he bombed out of the first race, as did Jonty Collard really. So maybe their tyres slightly better towards the end of this race. Van Berdaal, look at the angle he goes into that turn number 1 on the Sef Stocks bikes. He is absolutely pulling away straight away from the pack.
And remember, Johan Leroux is classed as a C-class rider. That is the age gap of 2,500 to 3,000. That is how old. And he's up there in podium contention, mixing it with A and B riders. Just cannot sing enough applauders here to Johan Leroux, who's now looking to make a move on the inside of Michael Smit. If Michael Smit sees Johan Leroux come past him, that has just got to be such a kick in the face and think, how is this guy doing it? But it looks like he's going to do it at the top of the hill now. Turn number 5. Let's see the next shot from Berdaal. Comes through there. He's still out front. Is Johan Leroux going to be in second place? No, Michael Smit still holds on. Very late on the brakes is Michael Smit. Got the front end of that bike set up perfectly.
I think Johan Leroux is the king of the late breakers. As long as he can keep that thing upright, Michael Smit knows that he's coming. He can hear that Kawasaki right behind him. And Gareth Besaidnout, best view in the house of these two in front of him. He'll be thinking, okay, let them tough it out together, and I'll just wait towards the end of the race, and I'll still pick up that second position on the podium.
Now, Collard on trying there, but Collard looks like he's battling to go with the pace at the moment, as is the Agliotti brothers. Not the same kind of pace that we saw in race number 1, but it did take them towards the end of the race to close that gap down. So maybe just getting comfortable with conditions before they attack. Like you said, Gareth Besaidnout, he's now bridged that gap, and we've got a 3-way battle just behind them. Look at this, Aubrey Meyer, Ruel Nalbaz, they are in a massive dance there. Sanjeev Singh just ahead of them, Henk Scaling not too far behind them, Lafroche Fritz and Landy Sinden, our lady rider, just off the back of that. Safiso Temba not having the same kind of pace as we saw in race number 1.
We're back with that dice. This is for the final podium position. One of those riders is not going to get on the podium. There is Ian Hardwood. He's stuck in no man's land. Yeah, he's stuck in no man's land.
What is he doing that high up? Ian Hardwood is loving life, as every one of these riders are. There's Jordan Agliotti now starting to close. Keith's got problems. Keith has got problems, maybe an effect from that race 1 crash, but he's dropping off the pace now big time into the clutches of Teddy Brook and Sanjeev Singh. And speaking about clutches, Johan Leroux, could you be any closer to the back end of Michael Smit? He has literally glued there for this entire race so far. This is Olberhauser, Aubrey Murray. They're in a good little battle there, trying to make up. This is the battle for a top 10. Who would have thought we would be talking about Aubrey Murray and Ruben Olberhauser battling it out for the top 10?
And Lafroze Fritz, look at him. He's just behind him as well. He's put in his best lap of the day so far. So Lafroze Fritz is coming quickly.
They always say, Rob, come race ZX10 Masters Cup. You must be crazy.
You're not a master,
think,
right?
I'm not a master, but I'm not going to come ride with these guys because they're getting too fast for me now. The pace has just picked up so much over the last couple of years. So impressive. Jordan Agliotti now on the inside of Jonty Collard. As we go on board here, we're going to see, yeah, there he is. Those EBC brake pads.
Look at that, out of shape.
Out of shape.
Oh, Jonty back underneath him. He's going to get back in front as they go into the top of the shaft. Oh, and Agliotti back around the outside. The perfect line, actually, as they flick it down the hill.
He's going to get the perfect wide sweeping line, carry that momentum. Johan Leroux on the inside into the final turn. Do we have him? Yes, he does. Up into second place, C-class rider then, ahead of Michael Smit. Gareth Besaidnout sitting there, still trying to make that move. But here comes Jordan Agliotti. He's got ahead now of Collard. Can he just get enough pace? Does he have enough time to get on into that battle and make it a 4-way battle for the podium? That's exactly what we want.
Well, we saw him do that in the first race. The last couple of laps, he came on ever so strong. And look at all these dices through the field. That's what is fantastic about this class. As we see Safiso Temba with his new sponsor, King Price.
Yeah, looks beautiful, that machine. He's under the wing of Clinton Seller, your 6-time national champion. So it's really going to help him progress throughout the season. There's Sanjeev Singh. He's stuck in there in about 8th or 9th place at the moment. So he's got some work to do. There's your second place, Johan Leroux. He's now pulling away from Michael Smit. So Smit, again, as we saw in race number 1, gets to that point in the race where he just starts maybe backing off and starts thinking a bit too defensively. Ruben Olberhauser on the inside of Lafroche Fritz at the top of the hill. Classic overtake. Does he hold on? Yes. Oh, Safiso Temba.
He's gone off the track.
Commentators curse. We were just singing his praises.
I'm blaming you for that one, Rob.
Yeah,
I'm blaming you for that one.
Sorry, Safiso.
Safiso's going to sort you out next time.
Sorry, my bad. I really do apologize, but did well to hang on to it. That's the nice thing about Zwartkops. They've extended that runway there, and the riders are able to do that. Van Berdaal extended that lead. Johan Leroux extending that lead. Gareth Besaidnout on the inside. Is he not? I was going to say he's not going to get that stop. There was too much pressure on the front wheel. Couldn't turn the bike in and had to run wide. That's put him down into 4th place now. Jordan Agliotti up into the 3rd place battle with Michael Smit.
And Teddy Brook also, we just saw him in the shot there, right behind Keith Agliotti, closing that gap down ever so slightly. As the laps wind down, Graham van Berdaal has now got himself a good lead. He'll be cruising at this point. Agliotti will pick up another podium if it works out this way with just half a kilometre to go. Back down into turn number 2, some of our back markers going through there. Landy Sinden, our lady rider, and just behind her is Carl Rohrbeck.
There is Johan Leroux holding on to the second. It's final lap time, and Jordan Agliotti somehow has got ahead of Michael Smith on this final lap. Another impressive ride there from the rookie. He's got himself another podium finish there. He'll be loving life there. From Radar comes out another double win on the day for your number 1 rider. Second place, Johan Leroux. That is so impressive from the C-Class rider. Jordan Agliotti in his rookie race holds on to that 3rd place. Michael Smith just off the podium again there in 4th. Gareth Bazendnote with that problem in 5th place. Jonty Collard in 6th, just ahead of Keith Agliotti and Teddy Brook.
It's a super day today. The track was slippery in that second heat, so I tried to put in the lap times while the tyre was still half coolish, and managed to break a gap. When I saw +4, I pretty much backed it off. And yeah, a great day. The track was brilliant condition. Thanks once again to sponsors, to Stefanucci and all the other competitors. Well done.
Dave standing by to chat to Johan Leroux.
No surprise, but you are rider of the day with a brilliant performance today.
Yeah, Dave, it just goes to show that, as I said this morning, I don't know if it's a curse or I don't know what you want to call it, being the oldest guy around, but what a pleasure it turned out to be.
What an absolute pleasure it was. We're at the TRP podium to shake up the champagne. Everyone except Johan Leroux, who decides he's not going to waste it. He's going to sip it with Les from Radar there. Graham had to head down to the short circuit to catch up with his son Jason. Remember, round 2 of the Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup is back here at Zwartkops on the 14th of March. We'll see you there. All this ZX10 Masters Cup action is proudly brought to you by Red Square for ultimate activation.